Greetings. Welcome back to the Urban Bread Podcast, Birth of a Nation. Greetings to my kings and queens, my gods and goddesses, to everyone that has tapped into that Christ-like energy, to Christ consciousness, to that goddess energy, to the collective. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's go ahead and get in here and pull some cards. I already see I done got a little bit darker. Just got back from the beach a couple of days ago. That melanin's still popping. So we're going to go ahead and get into this reading. Hope everyone is doing well today. And we're going to see what Spirit has to show us. If you're watching the video, don't forget to go ahead and follow my page. Don't forget to follow me at the Urban Bread Podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to follow my TikTok page. I just made this new TikTok page, so please go ahead and follow that if you are viewing the video. Let's see. Clarify some chords. I'm going to clarify that. Okay, the first card that got to come out said child services, children in danger, family being reported, neglect or abuse suspected, bankrupt, dirty offer. I don't know if we have some people out there or someone in your energy, could be you, maybe going through some financial problems right now. Hopefully that is not the case. But we all know how the economy is right now. I'm going to pull from my tarot deck and clarify these. I want to clarify that child services card because maybe the neglect has to be with maybe neglecting yourself. But we're going to clarify that. So the Page of Wands came out. You're tapping into your creativity right now. I can tell you what's been going on. Maybe some of you declined maybe an offer from someone. It could have been maybe a job offer recently, or maybe a relationship or partnership, you know, but they were coming in with a dirty offer and you didn't really trust it, right? But yeah, so you are getting back into your creativity, right? You are being inspired, and you had been neglecting yourself. So that card to come out was being in danger, neglect or abuse suspected, because you really didn't know your worth at the time. And so now you're pouring back into yourself. Now you're exploring your creativity. You are enthused about it. You have a lot of inspiration around you. You're no longer in the energy of like your finances being bankrupt, you know, because you rejected an offer that maybe somebody was trying to partner up with you, and for good reason, because you would have been giving way more to them than they would have been giving to you, and you would have been neglecting yourself. So the next card to come out, and it came out in the reverse, which is the Magician, right? You were dealing with some trickery and some deception, some manipulation. So with the Magician coming out in the reverse, that shows the type of energy that whoever was around you, that's the energy that they were in. They were being very deceptive, and they were being manipulative, right? Which was causing your money to dwindle, because like I said, you were probably giving way more to that person than they were giving to you. They came in with a dirty offer. Whoever you had in your energy didn't come in with good intentions in the first place, and that is why you weren't able to really see the fruits of your labor. That's why you weren't able to see like your money increase, because of that low vibrational energy that they were in. But now you are you've moved away from that deception and that manipulative type energy, because now you are more focused on yourself. You're pouring into yourself. You're no longer neglecting yourself. I'm not going to take all those cards, but the next one to come out, okay. We have the Sun card to come out. Yes, the sun reminds us that every day is a new opportunity to shine. Everything is illuminated. So you've had some things illuminated. We have fire signs out there. You're on to victory and success and joy. You have more positivity in your life because the Sun card came out. This is the Sun card, right? So you definitely are pouring back to yourself, pouring back into yourself. You're no longer you no longer have energies around you that are full of trickery and deceit and manipulation. You're no longer full of self-doubt. You're no longer doubting yourself. You're trusting your own intuition, and therefore it has your money going up. You know, like you're being able to see everything that you put in. You getting ready. If you haven't already, you are headed towards the energy where you're going to be seeing the fruits of your labor. Like, you know, everything that you poured in, whether it's a business, whether it's another relationship or whatever, your finances are elevating, right? You no longer have to worry about the past due bills because you removed a person or some people out of your energy. Yeah, so the Empress came out, and it came out in the reverse. Neglect, lack of growth, stagnation. Yeah, you moved away from things that were blocking you because it was no growth. You had a lot of stagnation going on. So like I said, as you're pouring into yourself, you're no longer neglecting yourself. Your finances are improving. You are no longer accepting offers from people that are coming in just to just to pull from your energy and just to get whatever that they can get from you. So you're no longer accepting those dirty offers. And the reason that you're no longer accepting that is because you now know your worth. You now know that you deserve better. You're no longer neglecting yourself. And you are no longer just giving back to a situation that wasn't beneficial to you. Okay? If that makes sense. Let me pull some more from our What's the Tea Oracle. Yeah, you had somebody in your energy that was definitely draining your finances. And your finances were probably getting drained because you weren't able to manifest, because you were kind of off balance, because your emotions maybe were all over the place. Like if you were in a situation, I don't care what type of partnership it is, if a person keeps you in an energy where you're always second guessing yourself, where you always doubting yourself, or where you always overthinking and not realizing where you stand with that person in that relationship or whatever, you can't manifest like that. And I'm pretty sure that you had more going out than you had coming in, okay? But you are no longer in that type of energy. The next card to come out is in their head, making assumptions, creating stories, trust issues showing. Yeah, that person stayed in their head that was around you, or they either kept you in your head, creating stories, trust issues showing. I can almost imagine that the people or a person that was in your energy, they had a lot of issues, right? And there was a lot of stuff that they just made up in their head about you that wasn't true. And that's because they weren't healed. See, people will do that. People will come up with these false narratives about you, and sometimes having you believe in certain things about yourself until you actually get to know yourself and sit with yourself. And that comes from you healing. And like I always say, healing comes from within. Like you can't look to another person to heal you, because healing comes from within. But that person kept you in your head, and in return they were in their head because they misjudged you. And it had you doubt your own intuition. It had you doubt your own intuition. You had a lot of people around you that were projecting off onto you. And maybe you had one person, I don't know what type of relationship, you would know better than me, whether it was a platonic relationship, friendship, work relationship, or a romantic partnership. But yeah, you had a person that had you gaslighting your own intuition and your own capabilities. They kept you in a lot of stagnant, stuck energy. You wasn't really going nowhere. And like I said, you had way more money going out than you had coming in, right? And that's because you were off balance. The next card to come out was the Thief card. Rob, loss, theft, physical, emotional. Yeah, you had a gaslighter in your energy, right? The people that's telling you them sweet nothings and don't really mean it or whatever. So they were robbing you of your emotional well-being, because they were emotionally manipulative. They weren't emotionally supportive, And they just kept you in your head, okay? They kept you in your head a lot. But now, like I said, you have come out of that bankrupt energy. Your finances have improved. You are on the road to success. I know they probably tried to double back, but you rejected that offer, because the only reason that a lot of people are trying to come back into your energy is because they see you winning. They see that your finances are getting straight. They see that you are creative and you're exploring new ideas, and you're very passionate about it. You're very enthused about it. You know, you have just a new inspiration around you. Like I said, we have fire signs out there. We have air signs out there. I know Libras are air signs, Sagittarius, Leos, those are fire signs, right? You are no longer neglecting yourself, so you really don't want to hear too much of what nobody else has to say if they're not trying to help you elevate, okay? And that's a good thing, because nobody wants to be stuck and stagnant and stuck in the same energy, not going nowhere, you know, just repeating the same cycles, okay? You have come out of that energy. You are no longer repeating those cycles. And it's showing because, like I said, your finances have improved. Next card to come out, it came out in reverse. So we have the Nine of Pentacles. Earth signs out there, Virgos out there, any Virgos out there. Strength, compassion, completion, optimism, okay? Self-worth, hustling, living beyond means. Yeah, that's because you had somebody in your energy. Baby, let me tell you something. You had somebody in your energy, or some people in your energy, that were kind of like trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? Living beyond their means. And that's exactly why your money wasn't like adding up. That's why you really couldn't see your way, because you had someone in your energy that was like fake flexing or whatever, that was spending more money than y'all actually had, you know, and that's because they was trying to show off and keep up this facade and pretending to be something that they weren't, right? Living beyond their means, okay? Which had you overthinking in your head. It had you overworking, but you didn't have anything to show for it. You know, I always say that, you know, the exchange of money, the exchange of currency, that's an energy, right? So you have to be careful with that as well, right? And you have to be careful even what you spend your money on, how you spend your money, who you let around your money, which is your finances or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because that stuff can start dwindling fast if it's not invested properly. And I don't mean just invested in things, even if you invested in the wrong person, you know, or the wrong people, you know, you will go into bankrupt. You will have some bills overdue. And that's because maybe you were catering to people or catering to a person that wanted to live a certain way, but you were the one putting in all the work, right? And like I said, you're not able to create like that when you're off balance. You know, everything has to flow and everything has to flow freely, right? But you have gotten out of that energy. You have gotten out of your head. You have gotten away from that gaslighter that was just robbing you of all of your emotions, and that was just you know, being emotionally manipulative to you. That theft, that's loss of time, you know, because like I said, you stay stuck and stagnant. But you are no longer in that energy, baby. You're not in that energy, and I'm happy for you, okay? The majority of the collective have walked away from a lot of things that were draining us. A lot of our finances have improved. I know mine has, and that's because you made some head over heart decisions, and you had to, you know, because had you stayed stuck and stagnant in that same energy, maybe dealing with those same people or stayed in that same relationship, you wouldn't be where you are right now, you know. And if you haven't gotten there, you're on your way. You on the road to victory and success, right? Because you had to release a lot of people, and I'm sure that a lot of it was hard, you know, for you to do, but you did it. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of myself, because you cannot take everybody with you, especially if they still stuck in the same habits, the same cycles, the same addictions, you know, not wanting to listen, not wanting to really level up, and not want you to level up either, you know, because misery loves company, and they want you to stay stuck. And then when you start leveling up, the first thing they're going to say, oh, you think you all that, you think you all this, you being Miss Goody Two Shoes. Why? Because you chose peace, because you chose yourself, because you chose to hold on to your wealth and stop over giving to everybody, and especially people that wasn't giving back to you. Remember, you no longer in this energy of being bankrupt. You no longer in this energy of having past due bills and overdue bills and just overthinking in your head, wondering how you're going to pay this, wondering how you're going to pay that. But that's the energy that a lot of people want to keep you in, because that's the energy that they are in. Remember, misery loves company. Crab in a bucket ass motherfuckers, you know? That's exactly the energy they want you to stay in. You are no longer in that energy. You're no longer neglecting yourself, okay? The next card to come out, and it came out in the reverse. This is the Queen of Wands. Yeah, they wanted you to stay insecure. They wanted you to, not have no passion. They want you to be left out in the cold. But I have a feeling that this is the energy that a lot of them are in now. They are insecure. They lack creativity. They're not leaders. They're followers, right? They look to you for everything. And now that you pulled your energy back and you placed your passions into yourself, they feel like they being left out in the cold. Now we still have fire signs out there, okay? You're using your leadership skills to inspire others. Like some of y'all, I don't care if you're making things with your hands. I don't care if you, a content creator, if you on TikTok, if you on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, if you're reading tarot cards, if you're speaking on your podcast, whatever you're doing to help others ascend, that is your creativity, okay? That is the thing that a lot of them lack. And that is the thing that they didn't want you to do. They didn't want you to be, so sure of yourself or so confident in yourself, in your own beliefs and what it is that you're supposed to be doing. They kept you stuck and stagnant because they didn't want you to elevate and ascend, because they didn't want you to pass them up. A lot of these people knew that if you ever got to that level, that they would be left out in the cold, because you would be on a different timeline and y'all wouldn't have anything in common. Y'all never really had anything in common in the first place. It's just that you didn't know who you were yet, okay? And a lot of those people, when they meet you, they run across you, they already know exactly who you are, what you're capable of, okay? Because they are attracted to your light. They really hoping and praying that you don't realize that. That way you'll stay right there. A lot of people knew that if you ever woke up to who you really are, that you will remove your energy. You wouldn't be around them no more. They would probably no longer be in your presence, because like I say, you would be on a different timeline, okay? And you would no longer be at that low vibration where you doing all of that, low vibrational thinking and just crashing out, doing dumb shit like them. A lot of people were comfortable with you on that timeline, in that energy, because it kind of like it mimicked them, you know how sometimes they say birds of a feather flock together, whatever. You had to realize who you were. You had to know your worth. You had to come back into remembrance of who you are, who you were. So you snatched your energy back. You jump timelines on their ass. They still there. And that's why they looking at you like you think you too much. You think you all of that. And you have changed, because you have changed for the better. But they are so one damn dimensional that they can't even see that your change was for the better. All they know is you set them healthy boundaries and you're not giving to them no more. Whether you pull back your energy as far as your emotions, as far as maybe y'all having late night talks and you giving them advice, or as far as you just pouring your money into them and just give it to them every time they ask you, right? You already know that people are going to always remember, the one time you said no. They forget about all the hundreds or the thousands of times that you said yes and you did for them, but the moment you stop doing for them, that's when these people going to start saying that you acting like this and you acting like that, and they, that you think you already do better than them. But I don't understand why a person gets so mad when you try to better yourself. So I'm going to tell y'all out there, keep moving, keep doing what you're doing, keep jumping timelines, keep jumping ship, keep leaving those people in that chaotic energy, let them sit with themselves, because you have better things to do. You are ascending, you are on the right path. You are, focused on your finances, you focused on your peace, you kind of like focused on yourself, okay? So don't worry about nothing that nobody else has to say. Especially a person that's not on your level, okay? Because I always said a broke motherfucker can't tell me nothing. Y'all need to feel the same way. If you ain't building and if you're not thriving and you're not trying to better yourself, you cannot tell me nothing about what I'm doing, especially if I'm elevated, and especially if I'm on a positive note, and especially if I left all that low vibrational ass energy alone and left people in the dust. Those people can't come back and tell me nothing. I could care less if they say you acting funny, you acting different, or you think you all that. I'm glad, because I do think I'm all that. And I felt like I was dumb as hell, you know what I'm saying, being around a lot of people that I knew didn't pour into me, or didn't mean me no good, or didn't want to see me ascend, didn't want to see me elevate, didn't want to see me do better for myself, better for my kids, better for my grandkids. Yeah, I was a fool for being stuck around those people for so damn long, but I got it now, and a lot of you too, because a lot of us, the majority of the collective, have moved away from those timelines and those energies, right? And we are out here creating. We're out here making better lives for ourselves. We have attracted new friendships, new partnerships. We have switched cities, switched states, switched jobs, and the only way to go now is up. We're going up higher and higher. Let those people stay in the gutter with the rest of the shit in the water, okay? Because we don't have time for that no more. Yeah, wasting time. Stuck, no changes, limited. They have limited beliefs, which is why they stuck in which like a time warp, you know, because they don't want to change their way of thinking. We all have the ability to change our circumstances. We all have the ability to reorchestrate, recreate our environment, you know, transmute the energy around us, right? You can change it from negative to positive if you want to, if you're willing to, right? But that work is going to come from within first. You have to work on yourself first before you can try to work on somebody else. You ever see those people out there that they have so much advice to give you, and they have so much advice to give other people about whatever shit they going through, but they don't have no advice when it comes to themselves, you know? Or they always in everybody's damn business, but not paying attention to their own. You know, when you start paying so much attention in somebody else's house, you start missing shit in your own. Then you wonder why you know, in bankrupt, and why your shit past due, and you know, why things not going your way. Focus on yourself. Focus on elevating. Focus on you know, building. People who think the same tend to build the same, okay? But yeah, that's what's going on. They are stuck. No changes. Limited beliefs. They've been wasting time on those repeat cycles, going around and around and around. But like I said, if you pull your energy back from a lot of these people, you are elevating. Your finances prove that. You know, you are on the road to victory and success. So all I can tell you is keep going, keep winning. Don't look back. Don't stop for nobody, because we're not saving nobody no more, okay? We saving ourselves, okay? And anybody that's not poured into us, I'm sorry, we don't have nothing to give you no more, because we've done that for years and years and years and years, okay? If you ain't got it by now, obviously you're not going to get it, okay? Because you're going to fool around and miss your own shit if you keep waiting on somebody else, okay? The next one to come out. Too busy winning. Exactly. We too busy winning. We are winning right now, okay? The collective. We're out here winning. We out here shining, okay? We're out here popping our shit. We out here doing exactly what we were meant to do. We loving life. We have peace. We have joy. We have moved on from those energies, baby. Look, the trophies are just add up, accolade after accolade. A lot of y'all probably getting recognized on y'all jobs. You know, you're probably getting some promotions out there. You're probably getting raises out there, buying new homes, buying new cars, whatever it is that you're doing. Keep winning, okay? Stay so busy winning that you don't even concentrate on none of the losses. You're not concentrating on no spilled cups, okay? Because we're not going backwards, okay? We elevating and we moving forward, and we collecting our little trophies and our accolades along the way. And whoever wants to waste our time and stay stuck with no change and have limited beliefs, then we leaving them right where they at, which is going to be bankrupt, which is going to be stuck in their head, okay? Because they thinking about all the stuff that you got going on, right? They need to be focusing on the shit. Oh, I'm going to take this bottom card. Legal issues. Some of them probably have some legal issues, okay? Some of them probably are facing some court matters. But they have a lot of delays because, you know, they don't want to listen to, you know how when you can give somebody advice, but they think they know every damn thing? Well, if the way you've been doing stuff hasn't been working, then maybe you need to listen to somebody sometime, you know? But that's the problem. A lot of them have, problems with authority figures. They don't want to listen to nothing. They think they know everything. And like I said, a lot of them are probably facing some real legal issues, probably are facing some court matters, right? But I know the collective not. We don't owe nobody no money. We not going into bankrupt. We winning. We doing everything that we supposed to do for ourselves, okay? And we looking good while we doing it. I'm going to take a few more cards. Then I'm going to go ahead and close out. So the next card to come out, Queen of Pentacles. Yep, it came out in the upright, okay? This is the Queen of Pentacles. You focus on your pentacles. You focus on your coins, okay? You sitting on your throne. Yeah, you are providing financially for yourself. And a Queen of Pentacles is very nurturing and usually a parent. So you're making sure you're good. You make sure your kids straight. You got grandkids, you're making sure they straight, okay? Anybody else, we're not throwing out no life jackets. We're not trying to save nobody else no more, okay? Because we did all that, right? We've done that. They didn't want to listen. So they're going to still stay stuck in the same energy until they figure out some shit on their own. Like I said, a lot of these people have to sit with themselves. And they have to come to the realization that, well, maybe I was wrong about some stuff. Maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I should have, you know, took the advice from collective when he or she was giving it to me. That way I could have elevated. That way I won't be, you know, stuck in my head worrying about, you know what I'm saying, money all the time. They need to do the work. A lot of these people need to do the work. And like I said, healing comes from within. That's the reason why a lot of people were projected onto you, because a lot of things in them hadn't healed. And you represent the version of them that you are healed. They're not. So you are the healed version. They want to be there so bad, but they cannot stand it. They can't stand that light because you healed before them, you know? And a lot of people, sometimes they are bitter behind it because they're trying to figure out, how did you get over some stuff so fast? You know how people say, you know, like, I survived some things that should have killed me? That's because for a lot of them, they gave up. They stopped trying, but you never stopped trying. You kept going. You kept getting up. Even after every setback, after every knockdown, you kept getting up. You kept getting back up. You kept standing. You kept rising. You know, you have that spirit, you know, of a winner, of a winning spirit. You have that leadership. You know, that's what you're gonna do. The collective, that's what we do. We lead. We press forward. We fall. We get back up. We never give up. Giving up is never an option. Okay. So for all of y'all that are out there still winning, I am happy for you. Okay, because if you're not on that road to victory and success, you are headed that way, because like I said, you've detached from a lot of people. You've detached from a lot of energies that was keeping you stuck and stagnant. You are no longer in your head about who you are and what it is that you need to do, because the majority of us are doing it, okay? That is my reading for today. Stay on that road to victory and success. Keep collecting your coins. Keep collecting your accolades, your trophies. Good luck to everyone that's out there. Like I said, keep winning, keep shining, okay? Because the enemy hates that. But I love it for y'all, and I love it for myself. Goodbye.